In the life of Saint Bruno, founder of the Carthusians, there is a fact which has been studied very thoroughly by the most learned Bollandists, and which presents to the most formal criticism all the historical characteristics of authenticity. An event that occurred in Paris, in broad daylight, in the presence of many thousands of witnesses, the details of which have been collected by his contemporaries, and which has given rise to a great religious order. A famous doctor of the University of Paris named Raymond Diocrès had just died, leaving universal admiration among all his students. It was the year 1082. One of the wisest doctors of that time, known throughout Europe for his science, his talents, and his virtues, named Bruno, was then in Paris with 4 companions, and it was his duty to attend the funeral of the illustrious deceased. The body had been laid in the great room of the Chancery, near the Church of Our Lady, and an immense crowd respectfully surrounded the bed, on which, according to the custom of that time, the deceased was exposed, covered with a simple veil. At the moment when one of the lessons of the Office of the Dead was being read, which begins as follows: "Answer me, how great and numerous are your iniquities?" A sepulchral voice comes out from under the funeral veil, and all those present hear these words: "By the righteous judgment of God, I have been accused." They rushed over, lifted the burial cloth. The poor deceased was there motionless, frozen, completely dead. The ceremony was then continued for a moment interrupted, and all those present were terrified and filled with fear. The office begins again. The aforementioned lesson is reached. "Answer me." And this time in the sight of all the world, the dead man rises, and in a strong and accentuated voice he says, "By the righteous judgment of God, I have been judged." And it falls again. The terror of the audience reaches its height. 2 doctors again justify the death. The corpse was cold, rigid. There was no courage to continue, and the office was postponed until the next day. The ecclesiastical authorities did not know what to resolve. Some said, "He is a convict. He is unworthy of the prayers of the Church." Others said, "No, all this is undoubtedly appalling, but in the end, shall we not all be accused first, and then judged by the righteous judgment of God?" The bishop was of this opinion, and the next day, at the same hour, the funeral ceremony began again, Bruno and his companions being present, as on the eve. The whole university, all Paris, had come to the Church of Notre Dame. The office is therefore beginning again. To the same lesson, "Answer me." Dr. Raymond's body rises from his seat, and with an indescribable accent that chills all those present with fright, he exclaims, "By the righteous judgment of God, I have been condemned," and fell motionless again. This time there was no doubt. The terrible prodigy, justified to the point of evidence, did not admit of reply. By order of the bishop and the chapter, after a session, the corpse was stripped of the insignia of its dignities and was taken to the dunghill de Montfaucon. On leaving the great hall of the Chancellery, Bruno, who was then about 45 years of age, irrevocably resolved to leave the world, and went with his companions to seek in the solitudes of the great Charterhouse near Grenoble a retreat where he could secure his salvation, and thus prepare himself slowly for the just judgments of God. Truly, here is a condemned man who returned from hell, not to get out of it, but to bear irreproachable witness to it. If you are eager to learn more about the mystery of our faith, make sure to check out our next video. If you liked this video, give us a like and subscribe.